Hey, hope all is well. Now, for the last several days, I have been getting the same message. Kind of coming off as like a little caution, like to kind of watch out. But this was around a download that I had got several years ago. And when I think about it, it is like really important for right now, especially the transformations we're going through. Now, first, it's always best to do what works for you versus what everyone tells you you should do. And you really need to be cautious about overgiving, especially with your energy right now. Now, I know that we've all heard the saying, you always sin, when people do you wrong, especially now with all the black magic going around. You always send people love and light. And this was a long time, well, more than several years ago, probably over 10 years ago. And even though I thought that was kind of strange, because I'm like, it's one thing to forgive, because forgiveness is for you, it's not for the other person. But I was like, the extra step, I always felt funny about it. So I would do it sometimes. And that was, I was actually going through spiritual warfare at the time. So I would do that sometimes. But I would notice that after I was sending them light and love, after being spiritually attacked, it always seems like it'd be a little pause, but the next attack that was launched on me was always worse every time that I would send the love and light. So once I noticed that pattern, that's when I went inward and started asking questions. And then that's when I got the download that even though I was doing the cord cuttings, it had put distance between them. By me sending them light and love, I was basically kind of throwing a little faint line back to them, which they were using, powering up on, and using to connect right back to me. So I was just powering them up. And that's when it dawned on me, because at the time, that's when I realized, a person can only love as deeply as they love themselves. When people are constantly spiritually attacking you, especially these are people that you already distanced away from, so they obsessing over you when you already don't want anything to do with them. These people don't love themselves, so you are sending them energy that they're incapable of integrating. So I was like, wow, okay. So that's at that point, that's when I stopped doing it, because to me, the pattern was really, really clear. And not only that, the energy that you put out gets, comes back to you. There's a little delay in the 3D, but which that delay is coming down. That's why you have to do the healing work, because the mindset has to be right for the new energies coming in. But when you constantly send somebody, when I was sending them love and light, not only was I kind of giving them, sending my energy back to them, when I was sending love and light, it was almost kind of shielding them in a way, kind of cocooning, because the more you do that, kind of the more you cushion them and almost like shield them from their own energy coming back. But the energy has to go somewhere, and a lot of times that's going to end up coming to you. And that's a harsh lesson of overgiving, but it happens all the time, because I think probably most of us know someone or heard of someone maybe who was like in, financially a really, really good standing, and they had a really good heart, and they will always give when people ask for them, and then something like tragic had happened to them, and when they needed other people, nobody was there for them. Now, it's a harsh lesson, but that is a lesson in overgiving, because at some point you kind of stepped in where maybe you shouldn't. So that's why it's always good. Go what feels right for you, especially right now, because with things that worked in the old cycle are not going to work in this new cycle. That's already changing. So the people that have been doing all these attacks and the plotting, because it's getting real heavy again. It's almost like it was a little break. And after this full moon, they pick right back up. But they have a lot of flux energies, ascension energies, and all of that, solar winds coming into the planet. And everything is just keep elevating. So the people that are at a real low frequency, they cannot handle that. They're not going to be in that new cycle because that's another video. That is not going to work. But you have to be really cautious because right now, especially this year, you're going to see it. Unfortunately, the death tolls are going to continue going up. A lot of stuff you see in other countries now, you're going to start seeing that in the U.S. Just be real cautious with your energy. And I mean, forgiveness is for you, but sending your energy, shielding them, you kind of run a risk of that energy, some of the energy that they sent out coming back to you. So just be really cautious with your energy. Just forgive, but you don't have to smother them with love. See you on the next one.